absolutely agree. We're going to talk about some UK prospects here in a second that you can totally turn your back on. It's okay, guys. Totally okay. Whyte, Rivas, not Whyte. You don't need to turn your back on Whyte. Don't worry. Actually turned out to be a really fun fight. It could have been a little bit better, but I felt like both guys got tired towards the end, to be quite honest. Like, a lot of the body shots clearly took the energy out of them. So, like, the 11th and 12th rounds didn't kick off the way I'd hope they would, because it seemed like we were going that way with Whyte going down the 9th round, that Rivas was going to just have this momentum swing in these later rounds, these championship rounds, and maybe get Whyte out of there, or vice versa, Whyte maybe having a momentum swing back. But I think both guys just, again, got tired from the body shots because both guys went to the body a lot throughout this fight. Dillian Whyte was just a little bit too polished for Oscar Rivas. His jab was there, consistently. On top of that, the left hook that he was throwing to the body, I thought was more efficient than Rivas was. But Rivas did look like he belongs with these guys in a way. I will add that. Like, Rivas definitely out of now the Brian Jennings and Dillian Whyte fight, we can clearly tell that Rivas is a top 15-ish heavyweight, and I wouldn't mind him fighting. God. Maybe somebody that needs to lose in the next couple fights. So let's say whoever loses the AJ Ruiz fight. Let's say if AJ loses again. AJ versus Oscar Rivas. I'm down for that. That'd be cool. Parker Chisora loser. I would like to see them fight Rivas. Usyk Takam. Whoever loses that fight, you can fight Oscar Rivas. Jarrell Miller coming off a suspension. You can fight Rivas. If Pulev doesn't get the Fury fight, Pulev versus Rivas makes sense. That's sort of the barometer of, or sort of the level of fights I want for Oscar Rivas at this point. Dillian Whyte, that's obviously earned himself to be a mandatory to to Deontay Wilder. And I think, to be honest, I really don't want to see him fight a tune-up in December or something like that they've alluded to. I'd rather he just sit out, maybe have an exhibition or something like that. Do like what other top guys have done in the past, have an exhibition instead. A 4-round fight you stream, and it's a 4-round sparring match, and it just, again, something to just do. But I'd rather just see Whyte wait and get a big fight, whatever that big fight is. I don't want to see him dropped anywhere below Oscar Rivas in terms of competition level. Rob, thoughts on this fight?
I thought it was a really good display from Dillian Whyte. I think he's showing how he's maturing. For me, Rivas was very one-paced. There wasn't any gears. He just sort of did his thing from start to finish. He proved to be like a real, tough guy. And for someone with such an amateur background, I thought he kind of looked a little bit amateurish at times. I thought Dillian Whyte just showed how that jab, people talk about the left hook, but that jab is really, really starting to work for him really well. And he mixed it up. It was like single shots, and then it was like the double jab. But I think it was round 2, the place went absolutely nuts when they started hooking off and trading off. Mm-hmm. Was it Dillian caught him, and then he was almost like, oh shit, is he hurt? Fuck it, let's go. And he went sort of trotting in to go and finish him off, and they like proper hooked off with each other, and it was crazy. But then, Whyte settled back down, just kept him on the jab, and I thought it was a really good display. As far as the next opponent, we'll obviously get onto the fight in a minute, but I can see it being like David Price or something like that, to be honest, off the back of his win. But yeah, no, a real good performance, and it's just when
why do you hate David Price so much, man? It's because he beat Dave Allen, huh? You're like, oh, he beat my man. Fuck that. Price, go fight Dillian Whyte. Go fight Dillian Whyte. Go do that.
My man. Oh my days. But yeah, no.
Hey, hold on. Arthur, bring up another fighter for Dillian Whyte. The god himself, Charles Martin. Yes, I like that.
He also said the one I said.
Yeah, but I don't like that. Like, that's too much of an easy knockout.
Whatever. We could all have our look. You just want Charles Martin to take that mandatory spot because you're a big Charles Martin.
Oh, so you admit that Charles Martin would beat Dillian Whyte? Interesting. Interesting. Well, you assumed it.
No, for you. That's why you want that fight.
Well, I didn't bring it up. I just brought up Charles Martin just in the fight. You brought up the fact that he would win.
When was that? Let me rewind the tape.
You did. It's okay. We can move on. Speaking of David Price, though, David Price defeated David Allen in a fight that I never need to watch again. It was super slow. Once Price got into that rhythm of I'm just gonna pump the jab out, and Allen just really had no answer for the jab.
Wait. Fat apples. White should fight Brett Yormark next. And the man who runs the WBC, what's his name? Dion Warwick.
Anyways, I thought, again, Price got into a really boring rhythm with the jab. And while it was effective, obviously, no real shot on his game plan. The game plan was perfect. He doesn't have the chin to really engage in combinations with David Allen. And the jab's working, keeping him at range. You have the height, you have the reach, use it. And it worked. And plus, the second that eye started closing up for Allen, you could tell that was bothering him. And on top of that, him seemingly having some concussion issues after the fact. And, did he go out on a stretcher? Is that...
Yeah, it was pretty scary. And
yeah.
Eddie Hearn mentioned it today. He's been to fights recently where oxygen isn't ringside. And he said it is so important that oxygen should be at every fight ringside for the second... because he said the second Allen told his corner and that they stopped it, he was instantly given oxygen.
Yeah, I saw that.
Same as Spilka, instantly was there on hand.
Spilka was scary. Shit. We're going to get to that in a second.
We'll get to that in a second, yeah. He left on a stretcher. I think went straight to the hospital. Reports came back that he'd broken orbital bone, damage to his tongue, which is now like the second time that's happened. So I don't know what he's doing.
His mouth must be open.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, and he had brain scans. But for me, you said it yourself. Like the fight was really like a slow pace, and that is where. And it might have been hard for Allen because the face-off was ridiculous. I think one of the shots was Allen was like barefoot, and Price had put his trainers back on. So it was ridiculous. But for me to be Price, you've got to pressure him and make him work, and then sort of drain his tank that way. Obviously, body shots as well. But I think it was Anthony Fowler tweeted. He said, "I've got Price winning 3-0. He's comfortable at this pace." So as long as it stayed at that pace, he was going to be able to do that. So. Shame for Allen. I've seen a whole bunch of people hating on it. Interestingly, well, sort of again
hating on it. How? Sorry, because you follow a different side boxing.
Yeah, just that he said he was going to beat Price and that he wanted Povetkin after this and things like that. But I've seen it as well. Spoken about Thurman that he spoke all his shit. Karma's a bitch. It come back to get you. They're selling fights.
You care more.
I've never heard a fighter say, "Yeah, I'm going to try my best, but I'm probably going to get my ass kicked." When have you ever heard a fighter say, "Yeah, I'm not going to win. I'm not very good"?
Hey, Rob.
Hello.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I would equate this. YouTube comment sections, right? At times, right, Rob, is the same to replies to fighters on IG or Twitter. Like it's the same cesspool. Love you, live chat. No mean to disrespect any of you guys. The usuals and regulars. I love you, but the weirdos out there, you guys know I'm talking about you. It's just you guys are weird. I avoid you. I ignore you. Rob, ignore them.
No, I know, but it's just hard.
The fighters can, unfortunately, but we have to.
Yeah, and I've seen Allen. I mean, look. There was reports of Allen was up drinking until 2:30 a.m. on the night before the fight. David Allen is teetotal and doesn't drink. And B, it's not no big thing that a fighter was up late the night before. Let's not forget they then go to work at like 10 p.m. in the evenings. They got a bit of room to have a lie in, you know. It could be nerves or it's bollocks. He just got beaten by a better guy. That was it. Pure. He found his level and he couldn't quite do anything about it. And let me tell you, we always hear David Price is this huge puncher, right? Those shots that Alan was taking were brutal. Just being like ringside and hearing those shots land from Price. Ringside. Oh my god. Oh my god, they're horrible to hear. And the thing is, Alan is such a fucking tough guy. It would be better if he got knocked out, not just stand and take just repeated blows to the head. But he's so fucking tough, he just doesn't go down. It's insane. But and a little bit scary as well. He's done a video, I think yesterday. He was just out for a walk, and he's like, as he does, like, "Hello, everyone. I'm doing all right. Yeah, the eye hurts a bit, but I'm okay." And he's sort of mulling things over, and he said how he was having a few health issues in the weeks before the fight, and like having headaches and just a few other health issues. And Eddie Hearn made comment of that today, saying I think as a promotional company, we're looking into that, because as far as we were concerned and that we knew, Dave Allen was in full bill of health, but to hear that he was suffering headaches, for weeks building up to the fight, that's quite worrying, and we're going to do a sort of investigate that and find out quite what's going on, because obviously we don't want fighters going into fights that are, got maybe like head problems and stuff. That's not what we want. So and as for Alan, people questioning, should he carry on, should he quit? A lot of people saying he could do a really good job in the UK, like as a pundit or some TV work, and there's money outside of fighting.
I'm telling him right now, David, if you're listening, Davey, podcast, you are exactly the type of guy that would have an awesome podcast, and you already have a fan base, like a little tiny niche audience. And in this space, if you have like 1,000, 2,000 people that watch you consistently, you will make money. So hey, Davey, start a podcast, man. Trust me.
Perhaps start with a Davey.
Look, if Teddy is doing it, Davey, you can do it too. Be like Teddy, Davey.
Oh my god. But yeah. So obviously Price got his big win. And just quickly, Tony Bellew, obviously mad Liverpudlian, Scouser, his boy. Price was in there. I think it was the round that Alan sat down, he got bust open in the eye. I think Bellew must have been watching it real close, and everyone else around was like, "Oh God, what's going on with this fight, man?" Oh, blah blah, chat. And you just heard Bellew go, "Dave, they've stopped it," and he was going crazy. And then David Price looked round, and there's the ref waving it off. The place went like, "Oh my God!" But
they were saying, "Oh my God, it's done, thank you."
Yeah, but like Bellew was fucking made up, running up to the ring and stuff like that. But yeah. David Price, I can confirm, when he lands a shot, it sounds fucking horrific. So,
quickly, since you mentioned Tony Bellew, a brief aside, and then we're going to jump to Chisora Spielka. For any of those out there that are really like savvy with the internets, because I don't want to do it, I want somebody else to do it because I'm lazy. Do a side by side of when Tony Bellew pushed Eddie Hearn off his back, okay, in that dramatic moment, and then have a side-by-side of Usyk doing the same thing to Tony Bellew when Tony Bellew snuck up behind Usyk and gave him a hug. Because that shit had me dying. Usyk looked like he was about to stab Tony Bellew. Only because, again, like he was more surprised and scared that somebody came up behind him and gave him that hug. You don't do that for people from Ukraine.
Just very quick, while we're on Bellew, he done a video the day after the O2 stuff of him like on an exercise bike or something, and Eddie Hearn's like, the comeback is on, and
please don't.
I'm sure it's not, but let me tell you, please Tony Bellew lives and breathes every punch. He's sat ringside watching. He's shouting at Lawrence Okoli. He's telling Dillian Whyte, go to the body. He's just you can tell he's like mad boxing through and through. But please, Tony, don't return. As much as it'd be great for me to see you fighting again, but nah, just keep doing your job with Sky. You do a good job.
Moving on, because we talked about Allen and Price and all that stuff way too much. Chisora Spilka. Chisora picked up a huge KO in the second round against Spilka, and it was really unsettling. First round, nothing really happened of note, to be honest. And in the second round, Spilka got cut up against the rope. Chisora landed a right hook, and you can tell it instantly sort of disconnected Spilka from his consciousness. God. He was still up, and the ref wasn't moving in. And Chisora landed, I think, like a 3-piece or a 2-piece, but the final punch was a right hook, and it sent Spilka down, and Spilka was out for a while. Crazy knockout. Spilka, please retire, man. You've had too many of those.
My God, that was about 10 feet from me. That was our side of the ring. And like you say, I saw Chisora land that big hook to start with. He went to the body and just brought the hook up over the top. And you could tell it, like you said, it just like Spilka, he was out. He just turned him off.
He was out.
He was there to just pump. And I think the referee was a little bit slow on it because he got like 3, maybe 4 free shots at him. And it was horrible. Absolutely. Oh my God. And obviously a big crowd got around Spilka. His wife came running past us and she was going absolutely crazy, like crying, screaming, hitting people. Yeah. This matchroom guy was like, do you want to just let the doctors see your husband?
And on top of that, just to add to the context, obviously, for those maybe they don't know, though I think if you're listening to the show, you do know, this all happened the day after, and we're going to get to it later, Maxim Dadashev had his scary situation that's still ongoing. We still haven't really had an official update on him.
Well, they had to remove a piece of his skull to relieve the pressure. So how he's doing after that, I'm not sure.
So again, we're gonna get to that later in a bit. But this has all happened the night after. So I think everyone's on edge. Like I was on edge, to be honest. I was just a listener, a fan of the sport. I was worried. I was extra aware of everyone that needed help after a knockout, and it seemed like a lot of people did. Last night it really did.
It really, as much as we were like, oh shit, the knockout, but the way he went down, I was instantly kind of like holding like sort of mouth open, but hands over, like, and you knew he was like that was a proper rough, heavy, like just turning off all the lights, and then like again when you see like Eddie Hearn said, you've got to have this oxygen ringside. It was straight on him. But when you see that, it's like, oh my God, he's on oxygen. He's like, oh fuck, this is bad. And his wife's fucking wailing, going crazy. And it's like, fuck, it's like, if I just witnessed someone fucking die in the ring, this is unbelievable. And then, obviously he started to come round and that. But yeah, there was a real, because at first, Chisora was pumped, like the energy of it, like, oh my God, yeah. And like you see Dave Caldwell kind of like trying to kind of just wait, just fuck this. And Dave Caldwell was sort of there to attend, but not like getting in the way. He was like concerned, and everyone was. The whole atmosphere kind of changed. They kept showing the replays, and it just every time people were like, oh fuck, and then they were like obviously checking on Spilka, like, is he moving? Is he this? But obviously he got up, started to get up, and you sort of think, oh, thank God for that. And then he did actually leave. He walked out himself. He wasn't sort of stretchered out or anything like that. But that was as much as the knockout was spectacular, that was a kind of heart in your mouth kind of moment. Like, shit, is he going to be all right?
Agreed. Hope Spilka's all right. We haven't really heard much about him.
He was in the back with Chisora afterwards. He said, what did Chisora say to him? Oh, come over to Poland and I'll see you. I think Chisora's been over a few times. They kind of know each other. And you hear Spilka say, I don't want you to come. Like, you stay here.
That's cool. Speaking of stuff that's not cool, Lawrence Okolie had a fight. And Richard, help me with the last name.
Riakporhe
had a fight. Heavy loose usage of the term fight for both shows.
Riakporhe was a fight. There was a lot
my God, it was so boring.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a fight.
Okay, no, you're right. No, you're right. No, they were punching each other. They were hitting each other. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But it was sloppy. It was boring. Both guys gassed out early. Like, it was not fun to watch. Lawrence Okolie had a Lawrence Okolie showing. So, like, that's...
Well, oh my God, there was at one point the kid literally ran. I know they say, oh, look, he's just running all night. But there was one point where he did actually break into like a run.
I know. I totally understand.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. And again, back to Bellew, he was saying, stop following him, Lawrence. Stop following him. Just cut him off. Step to the side. Stop following him. And that was basically whatever the stoppage was, like 8th round or whatever it was, or 7th. But prior to that was 3-minute intervals of Tony Bellew telling Lawrence to stop following him. Basically, it's still a lot to learn. But
one problem with Lawrence Okolie is that he entered the world stage in a sense, in terms of like how many people are aware of him, far too early in his career and his development. Because
yeah, I know what you mean. Like maybe he should be on 13 fights or whatever he is, and we maybe still don't know who he is. If you know what I mean?
Yes. No. That's exactly what should happen. But now everyone in the boxing world does know. People that are hardcore that follow the sport, you know who Lawrence Okolie is, and that isn't a good thing
as well.
Yeah, and that isn't a good thing anymore. I did not see the Fabio Wardley fight. Rob, I assume you saw it.
That was on the YouTube, Facebook feed before the pay-per-view. He got a bit of a test early on, and then he got about his work. But the first round, it was like, oh, this guy, maybe he's got something. It seems like a step up. But he did get the stoppage in the end. And just quickly, what's his name? Babic is I think Dillian Whyte's just signed him heavyweight. Oh my God, he's a savage. I don't think the opponent was up to much, but Babic knocked him down within like 10 seconds of the fight, and by the time it hit 45 seconds, it was over. So yeah, but he was quoted as saying, "I just want to smash" or something, something like that. It's like, well, don't we all?
It's true. Moving on.